Hey, this is Harry Guinness from Make Use Of, and today I am reviewing the Olympus OMD E-M10 mirrorless camera. Despite the awkward name, this is actually a really good camera. A mirrorless camera is a step up from a compact camera or your phone. They tend to use a sensor that's a similar size. This one is a slightly smaller sensor than a DSLR. But it's of a similar quality, so you get a lot more from your camera, despite the fact that, as you can see, it's quite small. The main way they do that is by removing the mirror, which is an important part of a DSLR, and thus the name mirrorless. This camera has a 16 megapixel micro four thirds sensor. Micro four thirds is a reference to the crop factor, and there's lots of lenses you can get that fit the micro four thirds standard, which is a really important part of a camera like this. If you can swap out the lenses, then you can change up to a telephoto lens if you want to shoot sports, or a fast prime if you want to shoot portraits. This is one of the big things that mirrorless cameras have going for them, unlike compact cameras or your phone. Shooting with the E-M10 was surprisingly good. It's got a feature that I really love, which is these two dials up here for changing the settings. So if you're shooting in manual mode, one controls shutter speed, the other controls aperture. Now that's a feature that's common on a lot of professional DSLRs, but on entry-level DSLRs, you normally have to hold down a modifier key and you only get one dial. When you're shooting, trust me, this makes a big difference to how fast you can change settings and how responsive everything is. Build quality wise, the camera's great. It's an all metal body, which is again a feature that's common in professional DSLRs, but the entry level DSLRs that this is competing with are typically plastic. So you're getting what feels like a much higher quality product and will take more abuse when you're out and about. You know, it doesn't feel flimsy. If you drop it, it's not gonna break, which is something that can't be said for plasticky DSLRs. Image quality wise, it stands up great. I put it through its paces over a week or two, and to be honest, the photos were on par with what I shoot with my Canon 650D, which is the camera over here. It's a 3-year-old DSLR, entry-level Canon, and it's quite good. And the photos from the Olympus were pretty much on par with that. So you're getting photos that are usable and are a serious step up from your smartphone. For $500, it's really quite worth it. One thing I want to talk about is the size and form factor. This is something you really can throw in a bag. The grip is a little bit small, so you're holding it with fingertips when you're shooting, which is more awkward than I'd like, but again, you're choosing a mirrorless camera for the size. If you want a nice big meaty grip, then you got to go with the DSLR. Once you get used to it, it's grand. But one thing I really like is the lens. If you see it there, it's tiny. It's about 1.5 inches off. When I turn the camera on, it extends out to almost twice its size. This then is a 14 to 42 millimeter lens, which means that it gives you the same focal length range as a 28 to 84 millimeter lens would on a full frame camera. So that's a really good zoom range. That's the sort of thing that for a walkabout for most situations is going to be really good, but it packs down to this tiny size. This is the kind of camera you really can throw in a bag as you're traveling and know that you're going to be able to shoot most things that you want to shoot without having to bring with you bulky lenses. A lot of other mirrorless cameras that have zoom lenses, the zoom lenses are about this size, which means that although it's smaller than a DSLR, it's still taking up space in a bag. So the E-M10, it's a really solid mirrorless camera. I was very impressed with it. There's a couple of things not to like, but there's so much more to like. So you should check out the written review, and there's also a chance to win this review model. So I haven't used it too much, so it's practically brand new. So enter the competition, sign up for the newsletter to be notified of when there's more reviews and giveaways.